take the song over. I clicked the wrong button again. Fuck. Okay, here we go. Got the right button now. Thank God. Kept clicking the wrong damn button. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Local Cloud Chasers. Woo!
Whoa, buddy.
Today's been one of those days for me, so that's why I'm totally cosplaying Andy Worski. Yes, that's why I'm cosplaying today, because it's been one of those days for me.
Are you like Phil? You want his shredded body?
Oh God, no. Oh, why? Why did you remind me of that?
Buddy?
Why? Why did you remind me of that? Why? Just why?
Oh shit. So do you want me to tell the audience what the episode's about, or do you want to tell it?
You know what? You go ahead and you tell them all about it. So let me go ahead and swap over.
We're gonna be looking at a clip of Joffy and Becky tag teaming and destroying Keem intellectually, and we're gonna go over the many L's of Keemstar the past few weeks, and show that he's really living in a delusion, and that he's probably the greatest lolcow of them all. And so today we're going to deconstruct, we're going to dismantle this idea of what Keemstar thinks of himself in his mind. Today, you're going to see L's. We're going to talk about L's, about him being scared of Grace Thorpe and having Brantley film her bike riding. He called the cops not once, not twice, 12 times on Grace Thorpe during Fat Camp. That is confirmed on record. L, because decisions he made led to Wings of Redemption losing its goddamn mind and ended up getting fired from LolCow. He's taken the L on Fat Camp itself. Fat Camp ended early, drove out by Grace Thorpe, ending his project early, losing tens of thousands of dollars along the way. I've seen the math on that, not getting his security deposit back, and just overall suffering, seething, coping about everything. And so today, Keemstar, you have been revealed to wear the clown makeup, and you can't wash it off, buddy.
Nope. There's no washing that fucking clown makeup off. I didn't know about the 12 times. I just knew that he called the police. That's fucking great.
Oh, remember, Vince McMahon owned WWE, right?
Yep.
And what happened to him? He was the boss. He was the millionaire owner. And then he ended up wearing the clown makeup himself eventually, and became not only the most hated character in wrestling for a while, but the most laughed at, where eventually he was the butt of the joke. Well, you see, Keemstar, you have entered the Attitude Era phase of Vince McMahon. And Wings of Redemption is your Stone Cold Steve Austin, who whooped your fucking ass on camera, Mr. Tough Guy, while you ran off stage, leaving Kelly to defend you.
This is like Vince McMahon leaving Stephanie to stop Stone Cold, only for Stone Cold to take Stephanie out.
And you're lower than Vince McMahon because he at least took the stunner.
Oh yeah, at least wise he accepted his fate when it was all said and done. This guy, he's like, oh, come on, dude, and just gets up and walks off. All casually, too. That's the part that gets me. He gets up and he just walks off casually. No, not running or calling for help. Like, hey, we got a massive problem over here to the so-called security. He was just like, oh, come on. And just got up all lazily.
Well, he wanted to seem like he was cool and collected, like he wasn't bothered by Wings. Meanwhile, 2 inches off camera, he's probably pissing himself.
Oh yeah, and like very shortly. And if it wasn't bad enough, before Wings even got him, Becky gets him. Look at Becky. Right, and what does he do? Instead of trying to actually pull him apart, he just kind of flops on top of her like a dead fish. Just flopping around.
And remember, to save his fat camp, he came hat in hand, which is the comment Wings made, which upset Keem that he exposed the script. They came hat in hand to get Becky down there to do the head shave incident. Hat in hand. Keemstar's like, he's too scared to take his hat off. He's like, please, put in the hat. Put in the hat. We'll get Becky down here and we'll get her to do the stunt. We'll get her to save fat camp, only to kick her out 2 days later because your ego. And then you don't even fire her. You never stick to your word. You said she'd be fired if she didn't come to fat camp. She's not fired. She still has her show. And on her show in this clip, she completely felts your ass. And so does Jaffe, who's on the lowest performing show in all the LCU. We probably, if you give us enough time, we would overtake Jaffe. And Jaffe's felting you, Keem, because you can't control him because he has more money than you.
Absolutely.
And if we actually look at your bank account, we know that the only reason you launched Locale Live is you are losing money hand over fist. You don't make what you used to make with Drama Alert, bitch, and you know it.
Nobody really fucking cares. If they really want drama stuff, Billy Mack, you had Gamers, you've got Moist Critical, you got Toastify, you've got June the King.
He has to surround himself with obese retards to make himself feel better, that he has to pay in order for them to be his friend.
Which I think that's
that make sense.
That is probably the saddest part of this whole thing, that he has to pay to have friends. He has to pay to have friends. You can't get lower than that. You can't.
He has to make his employees his friends, the same employees who are scared of him for controlling their financial lives, essentially. He wants to cuck all the content. He wants a percentage of everybody's cut and make all these shows. And then he wants to claim he's some sort of genius while everybody else does the work. Meanwhile, where are your solo live streams at, Keem? Are you going to ever stream solo and do work on your own? Or do you need all these fucking idiots surrounding you to make yourself feel important? You self-important, entitled little bald gnome bitch. Suffer, Keem, suffer.
And that's what makes it even better about this whole thing, is if you go back to Drama Alert, remember when he also reported on multiple people? His excuse was always, well, my team didn't properly do the research, or my team didn't get the right names, or my team did this, or my team did that. Notice he never took accountability for what he did. It was always his team's fault. It was never him. He never did anything wrong. He's innocent.
Here's the problem with Keemstar. He wants to own everything and get all the credit, but none of the responsibility and accountability. So he could have went into like the Lolcow podcast and done what he said it was going to be, which is he doesn't own the channel. It's a joint venture and they're partners. No, instead he wanted to be the boss behind the scenes. But Tommy C exposed that. And once it was exposed and the mask came off, we saw Mr. McMahon himself, Keemstar, aka DJ Keemstar, fucking his true colors as the greedy gnome bitch boss that he is.
I swear to remind, like, because he tried to stiff, what was it? He tried to stiff Tommy C the same way that RTU stiffed JKB, if not worse.
Yes.
But he wants.
Keem says, I got scammed. I was scammed by Tommy C. He still says that. How soon did we hear I got scammed by Wings? I got scammed. No, sir. You scammed Wings.
Because and I know we're long tooth in the nail at the beginning of this, but here's the thing you have to understand, audience members, is that this man was responsible for Wings being off his medication, the medication that would have handled his mental disorders, and the fact that, from what I understand, the research I've done, he's bipolar. That medication that would have kept him from attacking Kelly, that would have kept him from wanting to fight in the beginning, he was off of completely. But yet, Keemstar wants to act like he has no choice. You had a choice, which was doing the right thing by making sure he was still on his medication. You can take it away the rest of the shit. He doesn't need junk food. He doesn't need Mountain Dew. He doesn't need all that shit.
Let's remember, the reason he's off the meds is Keemstar said he wanted a more entertaining Wings. Well, be careful what you wish for, dumbass.
Because y'all might just get what you want.
Altogether. Now you lose Wings altogether, unless you're scripting domestic violence, which I wouldn't put past you. But you lose Wings altogether because your ego said we needed Wings to be more entertaining instead of letting Wings be himself. You forced Wings into situations where he was uncomfortable, and you pressed his buttons on purpose. And then when he snaps, you go, gee golly, this is all Wings' fault. Why don't you take some fucking accountability and responsibility for what you did? Stop fucking with people's medications. Stop telling people like Psycho Mom to go drink some more when she's trying to be not an alcoholic. Stop being a general piece of shit as a human being. You can make good content and still get good views without scripting bullshit drama, pushing people's buttons, and making people hate each other and fear for their jobs every fucking day.
Here's the other thing I want to point out as well, is that if we go back to like with JKB and them, it was like you talked about how there was going to be a role in redemption. We're going to make RTU and JKB friends again. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Why? Why are you going to force the man that fucked over his best friend of 6+ years be his friend again? It's clear they don't want to be friends. They don't want anything to do with each other. Why are you forcing that?
And then they replace RTU with Jaffe, and their numbers went pew, and he changed the time slot for Madhouse. So I'm ready to get into the clip if you are, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. So we're just starting straight from the top, or are we kicking off from?
I would say I didn't give you the right timestamp for this. Just skim it until you see Keem's avatar picture show up.
Yeah, I see it right here.
Yes. Are we serious right now? Are we really serious? Oh, here's Keem. Hang on.
There we go.
Hi, Keem. What's up?
How are you buying all these wigs? I thought you were just stranded at an airport.
This one is the one I bought while I was down there. And then I got the other two because I know I'm getting... Listen, I've heard this before. Wigs are $20, $30. The plane ticket or a hotel is a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm. Can we just settle this once and for all?
Sure.
That you lied. You were not stranded at an airport.
Now
you
the
clearly
super
had
chats are
money
coming
to
in.
get home.
Him gaslighting and pushing the blame
Hang
on
on.
Wings is most definitely what got him fired up. I
No.
would too if someone lied
Oh my
and
gosh.
tried to pass the blame, lol.
Now the super chats aren't coming in. They weren't working till you came. I guess you bring the money. I was not lying. I was stranded at the airport and my return flight cost... Yeah, go ahead.
You clearly had the money to get home. You just lied and you wanted your money up front, right?
Why are you... Okay.
Wow.
Are you trying to make me mad?
I mean, you brought her there, pay her.
Well, I'm just saying, you publicly tweeted out that I left you stranded at the airport, which was a complete lie, and I want to set the record straight. You clearly had a way to get home. You said as such, and then once you got to the airport,
I said as such?
you tried to say you were stranded to try to get your money early when you knew it was going to be paid out on May 1st.
What do you mean I said as such? I addressed this all in
Hold up a
yesterday's
minute. We gotta
stream.
stop
No,
there.
I never...
May 1st. May 1st. What about April 1st? Is he only paying them every 2 months?
Let's see. So this is March. So May. Because this is March. Did he pay him this month? We're at the end of March.
On the first. They get paid on the first. Is he already acknowledging they're not getting a paycheck in April for Fat Camp?
Wow. That fucking made my blood rush out of my head, and it just came back.
Well, you're getting paid. You're getting paid May 1st. How couldn't you get home from the airport in the middle of March? You're getting paid May 1st. It's only 6 weeks away, Becky. I mean, I only brought you down here and, sent you home early, and uprooted your entire life over this, and even though you didn't have the money to come. And didn't pay your way back, but I didn't leave you stranded. I got to set the record straight because I am Keemstar.
Oh my God! Oh, my head. Oh, that was such a dumb statement. We got to set the record straight. What do you mean set the record straight? Well, we didn't. Well, I'm gonna pay you May 1st. Motherfucker, April 1st, I'd be like, Boogie, motherfucker, April 1st is coming up. I need money for mortgage. I need money for my iPhone. I need money for my water.
Either Keemstar doesn't have the money, and he lies that he's as rich as he says he is, or he's greedy and doesn't want to give out the money. He's not even talking about giving her the money to go home. He's talking about taking from her future check and advancing her the money to get home.
What? Hell no. Hell no. Piss off on that one. I'm supposed to be.
Went to Fat Camp had to pay their own way to get. Everybody went to Fat Camp had to pay their own way to get down there too.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. No wonder why Wings said, give me my money. No wonder why. I would too. What the fuck? Texas is a long ass fucking drive from South Carolina.
All right, I guess we should hear more from Scamstar.
From Green Star.
I had a way home. I said I would work on changing the flight, and when I went to change the flight, there wasn't a good flight for a day or two. It ended up being 2 days, which meant that I needed a hotel or something. Otherwise, I was just stuck there for 2 days. So yeah, I was stranded, and that's why I needed that money, and the money you gave me wasn't even enough to get home.
Fair.
I wasn't lying.
You're just lying.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love his response.
You want? I wasn't lying, but you're gonna make me say something that's just gonna make you.
You're just lying. You're just lying. You're just lying.
How much you get paid, obviously, right? And I knew
I have something to say about this.
You're just lying.
He shows, hey, well, you sent me home early, so now I had to change the flight. There wasn't a flight for 2 days. Basically, what do you want me to do? Stay at the fucking airport for 48 hours and wait on a flight? Are you going to pay for a hotel room after you kick me off the property? You know what I'm saying? Come on, Keemstar, use your fucking noggin. You can't just get a flight on demand sometimes.
Well, like not only
Idiot.
also not only that. So not only that, but if you spend any real amount of time in the airport and you don't have a ticket or something like that, you can get arrested for loitering.
Yeah, homeless go in there.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think Becky wanted to find herself behind bars, but that's just me.
And she said he didn't give her enough money to even do that. So it's like, what the fuck are you doing, Keem? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know what the fuck he's doing. This is the most retarded shit I have seen in quite a while, and I've seen.
Oh, and then he wants to weaponize stuff behind the scenes.
Oh my god!
If you say things that are behind the scenes stuff, then you're in trouble. So that's why Becky's like, well, if I explain a little more, you're gonna be really upset. Yeah, because little insecure Keemstar wants to make sure that he always comes out the winning side of an argument. No, sometimes you're just wrong, buddy. Sometimes you are just a greedy prick. Not always, and people do throw things at your feet that aren't always your thing. This is your fucking problem. This is your fucking employee. You made it that way. You could have just collabed with people on equal footing, but you wanted an employer-employee relationship. The employer-employee relationship is what you're gonna fucking get.
Hey, congratulations. I found out the hard way, huh? And not only that, but as you also found out, you can't keep people quiet about their payments and what they're being paid.
We'll see that later on in the clip.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a federal law that states that employees are allowed to discuss their wages, contract or no contract.
Keem's NDA. What about Keem's NDA? Ooh, Keem's got an NDA. Ooh, look out, NDA.
If I'm not mistaken, the federal law supersedes the NDA. If I'm not mistaken.
Lolcow Live's been resorted to a jerk-off session of Boogie just jerking off Keem now. That's all it is.
It's
Capital B, boring. Count me out. That shit'd be boring to cover. We'll cover other lolcows if it gets to be that bad.
Well, I'm just saying, that's just Keem and Boogie's penis time. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
I paid you 2 weeks before that, and then you were trying to push this messaging out to the community that you were broke and that I just left you at the airport.
It was not 2
stranded
weeks
with no
before
way
that.
home.
I got paid. All right, so fine. We're gonna fucking do this. I got paid $7,500. I immediately decide $3,000 from that check and the paycheck before it because that had to go to taxes that have to be paid. And then I had other bills that I was behind on because that was my first big real paycheck I had all the way from December. And aside from all that, none of that is even your business. I also addressed yesterday, what is even the point of me asking for you to front the money if I couldn't afford to get down there? If I was going to get it in May, the whole point was I needed that money to book the tickets.
Yeah, well, first of all, it is my business because you put out a tweet publicly that I left you stranded at the airport. So let's just understand that. Second of all,
so let's just understand that.
Host has asked for any fat camp expenses to be paid up front. You're the only one.
I understand that. And why are you being a sore loser about it? You agreed to this. In fact, you agreed to pay half my expenses, which you didn't pay because it cost me an additional $800 unexpected $800 when I had to leave early.
No way.
You think I'm a sore loser? I'm not sure what I lost. I don't feel like a loser.
I don't feel like.
Stop there. You gotta stop.
I don't feel like a sore loser. That is the greatest statement I've ever heard. It sounds like a lot of people I've been dealing with lately. Well, I'm not a sore loser, even though I'm totally talking shit.
This reminds me of DSP Cope. Like, I'm not the loser in this. You all are the loser. I'm the winner. This sounds like DSP. You had an additional $800 expenses because you kicked the content out of Fat Camp. The best parts of Fat Camp are Becky and Wings. And what did you do? Like a fucking retard? You kicked the best parts of Fat Camp out and it died after that. And you didn't even make sure Becky got home. She's your number one person in the entire LCU. She's surpassed Boogie as far as a draw goes. And you know what really bothers you, Keem? She surpassed you as a draw. She surpassed you as a draw in the LCU. You built this monster up, and now she's the bad bitch in the yard, not you, buddy.
No. I can't get over it. I don't feel like the loser. It's like DSP saying, well, I totally didn't get snaked by the King of the Casino. I knew they were going to snake me. That's the reason why I had all these mods set up. And if you talk about it, I'm going to ban you. Because, look, I don't care that you support them and all, but there's not enough support coming to me. So if you don't support me, I'm going to ban you, even though I totally didn't get snaked. That's exactly how it comes off.
Look at this cope. But Keemstar, this cope, man, like it's cope and seethe. You can tell in your voice, this is cope and seethe.
You are coping. coping, coping and seething. You just take hands at what you're seeing as you're coping.
Becky is just systematically laying out the truth in front of your face, and you can't address any of the points directly.
It sounds like a certain somebody I dealt with on Twitter early this morning. I'm not wrong either. Let's continue.
I will say this: when you put out things that are false, all the time,
It's not
and you're
false
gonna
and it's not a lie. It's not false and it's not a lie. And you know, this is what I'm going to say because this really pisses me off. How come my own employer that's supposed to have my back doesn't believe me? Meanwhile, Voldemort was willing to help me get back up to New York, but you weren't. What kind of situation did you leave me in?
Voldemort.
Grace, by the way.
Seriously.
Why is it that the other hosts that don't make as much money as you
Because they
had
have
no issues going to back
They
camp
have
there and back? Why is it that your expenses
Oh my
to get to
God.
camp were more than everyone else's?
Because, Keem,
Why
I told
is
you.
it
Okay,
that your
you're full of
expenses?
shit.
I'm still talking. Why is it
I'm
that
still
your
talking.
expenses were based on how long your cats needed to be watched, but then you went home way earlier, but the expense was still the same
Because it
amount?
was
I mean, these are a lot of
non-refundable.
questions that I feel like
Non-refundable,
you
Keem.
now owe the audience the answers to,
Here's the
and everybody in the
answer.
LCU since you made this public.
You want to hear the answer? First of all, it doesn't matter why I have financial problems that others don't. Okay, that's no one's fucking business, but I do, and that's not a lie.
made it
And so,
public.
no,
You made
wait,
it
I'm
public.
talking now.
You made it
I'm
public.
talking now. I'm talking now. I let you talk. Now
made
it's
it
my
public.
turn. Good. Get the fuck out.
He ran like
Now
a
it's
bitch off
my
the call.
He fucking ran like a bitch. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He talks about how he demands her to explain, but he kept cutting her off as she was explaining. For the audience members who couldn't understand what she was saying, she was talking about that was non-refundable services. She has other expenses that she was trying to pay for, and then on top of that, she was trying to scrounge up the money from her family to get home. But he kept cutting her off, going, "You gotta explain it. You gotta explain it. You gotta explain it," like a fucking crybaby. I've never seen a bigger man child in my entire life, and I have dealt with a lot of man children.
Well, first of all, let me say we have no love lost for Becky. You know, we don't like her very much here. But what I will say, in that exchange, she completely destroyed and owned him to the point Keemstar had to leave the call because she laid out exactly why it was the way it was, and Keemstar just kept repeating, "Oh, it's a lie," and "You're lying about me," and it's like, no, dude, she laid it out. Like, you're not offering any counter numbers, the numbers she's saying. You're not giving any counter argument. You're just saying, you're just like, "Trust me, bro, she's lying." You're doing the "trust me, bro" defense. Get the fuck out of here with that. You're the last "trust me, bro" I would trust, bro.
I wouldn't trust Keemstar even if he was the last man alive. If he was the last man alive,
Why do you think Boogie and Wings fought so hard to get it in their contracts when they get fired to get that extra month of pay and stuff like that? Because they know. They say they're friends, but they know deep down Team would love to just scam them out of their last bit of money.
well, because
Do the right thing.
they saw what happened to Tommy. They saw what happened to him, and they know that the exact same thing will happen to them if they do not do something about it ahead of time. Any smart-witted fellow would know that he's gonna fuck a boss like that would want to fuck you over. So of course they would want to either fight it or have a lawyer on their behalf fight for that kind of contract. I would.
You know, he did not have to be the boss of this. He could have just started a podcast with Tommy C, Wings, and Boogie and done what they claimed was actually going on, but it wasn't, where it was 25% ownership and pay. So then nobody could fire anybody, and they were all in it together or not in it at all.
Yeah, so if one left, then the whole thing fell apart.
That was a fucking lie from the beginning. Well, if one person left, then you would just simply make it, okay, you're leaving voluntarily. This is 33%. You know what I mean?
Or bring somebody else in.
The idea that Keemstar has to sit there and he has to control every aspect, and then that's how you end up with a Boogie who is just like, yes, sir. Yep, you got it, sir.
Like Boogie going, the Keemstar's every statement. Yes, sir. You're a man. You fucking deep throwing them.
If we did that, imagine if we did that on this podcast. It would be boring, and none of you all would tune in.
Like the people that are watching right now, watching because we have differences of opinions, not because me and you suck each other off every episode. Like we're the gay cast, we're the gay ops cast.
Becky pushes back on him.
Oh, it was not only was that beautiful, it was annoying as hell that he kept over talking her, and then he leaves like a bitch. He just leaves. Totally just leaves.
He'll be back.
Of course he will be, because on like Wings he can't help but to keep running to the girls. It's the reason why he's been through so many women.
He might be back soon. He might just play it out a little bit, and let's see.
Why did it depend on the cats? It was because when everything came up and all the issues with the fighting started, originally my parents were going to watch my cats. I didn't have a cat sitting expense. But once Keem started saying shit about my parents online, all of a sudden I had an $1,100 expense I had to cover. So my trip went from costing me $2,000, that's an estimate, it was actually more, to $3,000. No, I'm sorry. It went from costing... I can't even remember.
She's so mad.
He wants these people to come down, pay for their shit to get there.
Yeah, it cost $2,000, whatever. I can't even fucking remember now. Anyway, I had an additional $1,100 expense for the cat sitting. I have this all in a spreadsheet I'd have to pull up to remember it.
Is
and
it
that's
worth
why
it?
it costs
Was
more.
it
Savage,
worth
I'll
it?
get to you.
No, it won't worth it.
That's why it costs more. And those expenses were because of Keem.
Is it worth
And you
it
know
to
what?
make
If he
less
wants to
money
bring up
next
this
month?
shit,
and
he
he's
asked
sitting
me
at
to
home?
leave early. That was an $800 expense. That I wasn't expecting. He said he'd pay for half my expenses. He should pay for that entire expense. He's the one who asked me to leave.
Yes, you should.
I was nice just asking for half.
Tina at? Where's Tina?
Tina's supposed to be here today. I don't know where she is.
Well, when Tina's here, you need to get the fuck out. You greedy fucking hog.
Oh, fuck off.
You think everybody owes you
Greedy.
something, Becky? When are you going to be a grown-ass fucking woman and take care of your own responsibilities? Everybody else had to pay their own way, and you always got your hand out.
They shouldn't have
I do
had
not always
to.
have my hand out, and
Yes,
I'm not
you
going to
do.
argue
Yes,
with
you
you,
do.
Savage.
Look
I'm
at
not
the
going to
big
argue with you
Savage.
over this.
Kick me then. Kick me. I said what I ought to say.
I'm not going to
Deal
kick
with it.
you, but I'm also fine. See, I'm not.
She left.
He doesn't back kick.
Let me get back to
A
the
lot.
TTSs I missed.
Things super chatted $19.99. Is Tina gone?
No, Tina's supposed to be here today. Maybe she's just running late. Why do I only see two? I thought there was another one I missed. Anyway, this one is from
Lord.
Ty, $20. Y'all might not agree, but if the whole Wings thing isn't scripted, Keem gaslighting and pushing the blame onto Wings is most definitely what got him fired up. I would too.
Bingo.
Lied and tried to place the blame. LOL. Ty, thanks for that
Yes.
$20. Ty, thank you. And I agree. I don't know that I would have reacted exactly like him, but I also break when my buttons are pushed too much. And then we have
Exactly. The
$20.
audience
The $20 from
pulled
Max
out
Does
it.
Things is Tina gone. I thought there was another one. Am I missing one? Am I crazy here? Zombie81, welcome
are
to Cash
crazy,
Cow,
bitch.
Grungehead, welcome to Van World. And Nikki, thanks for being a member for 1 month. I don't know where Tina is. Let me text her really quick.
I just want to say, like, as far as like the Wings thing is concerned, I've had after our episode and everything, and a couple of days had passed. Our previous episode, which if you have not watched it after this live stream, go watch that episode. That was fucking crazy. So many clips, so much storyline had to be told that I struggled to even get a clip out that could properly tell the story. And I don't even think that did justice to what actually happened.
Oh, real quick. I just want to thank the fans for tuning into that episode last week. That was our best, most watched episode of Lolcow Clout Chasers up to this point. I told Tim's and privately, I said, this will be the best episode we've done. And last episode, the viewership really showed out for it too. It was a well put together episode, much better than was put together this week. But thank you for being here today, and thank you for being here last week to the fans.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, the interaction, the engagement. It was fun actually having conversations from multiple points of view, even though I made fun of one of them over and over and over again. Hey, I'm just saying, you take shots at me in the chat, don't expect me to not take shots back at you. You missed. Oh, it's all fun and games for me. Unlike certain other people on Twitter, I don't get butthurt if you make fun of me.
Yeah, there was a lot to analyze last week. There was a lot of shit that happened last week. There's a lot to analyze. Did you notice in this week's episode, we're not even showing anything from Fat Camp because there's really nothing to show, because the show really died after Wings and Becky left. They ended it early. They fucking had a wedding episode to end it. They didn't do the final weigh-in like they said. They didn't stay till all the way through Sunday like they said. They didn't stay the full time. You, the audience, got completely scammed by LolCal Live. Just 100%. It's a total scam.
I was gonna say, not only that, when I would look at like Becky and how now she's getting attacked from all angles, even though she's really not the one at fault. And like you were pointing out, was it really worth it going there? And I shook my head no. The reason I say no is because think about it, let's go with the math she originally laid out, which was $2,000. So it's $2,000 to get there from Ohio to, actually New York, because she lives in New York, correct? Because she said she lived nearby Review Tech, so she lives in New York, probably in the Queens area.
Yeah, they go to Texas.
That's about what, $800 for plane tickets to get there.
Probably.
Yeah.
These people need to do. These people, whenever it comes to these live events from now on, I think after this disaster and how little people are getting paid and what they had to spend to get there, I'd make myself very fucking clear. If Keemstar was telling me to go somewhere, I'd say, I want it all expenses paid trip there, bitch. Or I'm not going. Then you're fired. Okay, then fucking fire me.
Fire me. I don't give a shit.
Right, because I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to lose thousands of dollars on my fucking paycheck. That is dumb. Just to stroke your little egos at your little drunk parties that you got to pay people to be at. It wasn't like those fuckers were losing weight while they're eating fucking pizza and drinking beer and partying it up just to stroke Keemstar's ego. All this is to stroke his motherfucking ego. He's a bald-known little insecure bitch.
Here's the other thing that like really pisses me off about it is that he claims he's like, oh, I'm going to teach you guys how to eat healthy food. I'm going to teach you how to do this, how to do that, how to exercise. He didn't teach them how to exercise. He stepped on their backs and added more pressure, more pain, more weight, which probably was one of the biggest reasons why Bookie couldn't get up to stop Wings. And even he admitted that all that really crippled him, so he couldn't get up. And if he could get up, all was going to happen was he was going to get bulldozed over by Wings anyhow, because he wouldn't have had the leg strength to stand up because Wings fucked his legs up. Because Wings...
Man, if you're going to do live events... Keemstar, it's called a $400 wireless microphone, you fucking idiot.
And the fucking wind. The wind was killing me. I could not get over the fucking wind. You used a pop filter. You need a wind filter. Not a pop filter, a wind filter to work in those kind of environments. And I know they make them.
This is what Fat Camp should have been. Honest to God, this is what it should have been. Keemstar should have rented out a gym for a day. Okay? They rent out a gym and he flies in on his dime because, right, if he thinks he's going to make money doing this, he should fly them in. He flies them in to do, workouts at the gym. like a 12-hour live stream, and they go, all right, this live stream, everybody involved, we're just splitting the money. Have him, Tina, Mike, Boogie, Wings, Becky, all at this gym. Whoever is invited and whoever goes, splits the earnings for that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keemstar says this day is not part of the payouts, but I will just look at the money that came in this day, and I will cash app you for this day, this stream. I'll go ahead and cash app you this money. And it's like a bonus stream. It's like a 12-hour thing. They do their exercises. They have their shows in there. It's a rented out gym. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're done. Tell everybody this is the day to donate. This is the day to really push it home. And then there you go. That's what they should have done.
And it should have been broken out in segments of what they were gonna do. Like, here's the early morning exercises, and we're gonna teach you how to cook healthy breakfasts, and we're gonna do. Streamlabs just shot me a thank you. Anyhow, well, then we're gonna do.
Clear. I'm done talking about Fat Camp. I'm done. Fat Camp is in our rearview mirror. It was shit content except for the Wings and Becky stuff. And I'm done talking about it. We're not covering on this fucking show anymore. Agree?
Oh, I agree. After this, I could fucking care less about Fat Camp.
I'm not even going to mention it the rest of the show. Fat Camp itself. I'm done with the Fat Camp itself stuff. But we're going to criticize Keem. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, if we're going to criticize him, we have to criticize him on that too.